1 2 1 2. Yo, what is up, everybody? You hear the intro, so you know what time it is. That is right. It is time for the In Off the Bench podcast. I am Daniel Ball, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, Jim Cross. And Jim, we're going to talk championship baseball once again with a University of Tennessee, a newly acquired University of Tennessee star. Gavin Kilen's going to be joining us. But before he does, we got to pay the bills around here. We got to plug some sponsors. The In Off the Bench podcast is brought to you by Chinook Seedery. Whether you're on the field or in the boardroom signing deals, Chinook will help you get the job done. Memphis City Designs. Get your brands, gear, and logos on everything from shoes to underoos. As a matter of fact, get your In Off the Bench gear and underoos while supplies last. Smith's Plumbing Services. You got a sink clog, drain clog, toilet clog, or anything in between. Call my boy Dustin. They are servicing all of the Mid-South. Call them up. They'll take good care of you. And finally, Old Dominic Distillery. Experience 150 years of tradition in the heart of downtown Memphis. Whether you want bourbon to vodka, whiskey to gin, Old Dominic's got you covered. Stop in today for a tour or to pick up your favorite bottle. And as always, tell them DB, tell them Jim from the In Off the Bench crew sent you. Jim, we got to talk championship baseball, championship culture. We got to talk all things Gavin Kilen. So help me welcome onto the show with the biggest interview in podcasting this week, our man, superstar Gavin Kilen.
All right, welcome in everybody. Gavin, my man, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Man, I'm fantastic because let me tell you something. I came into this season, LSU took an L in college football, didn't sit well. We looked rough against Nicholls State, but then my Saints, who I never know what to get from, I don't care if it is Carolina, I absolutely took them to the woodshed. I won my fantasy matchups. And so, you know what? I even told you before the show, I've had a rough day. But at the end of the day, when my Saints win, when I win fantasy, I could be in a pretty good mood. But that leads me to ask, most of you guys, y'all play fantasy. Do you play?
I do not. I did not participate this year, no.
My man, it's focused. I've seen you've made some
Right.
all academic teams. Obviously you're getting acclimated to a new situation. So I see you getting focused. Well, at least tell me this, you go to Knoxville and right now, football is king, even though, man, they literally got Billy Barrels, the stroke clap going through the stadium. They got the band spelling out, Tony V in the field. So baseball is still, living up during football season. But did you get to go to the opener at Neyland?
I did not. Playing, honestly, I will be there for the big games, the SEC games for sure. I just knew for me, like, we had a whole long week of baseball. It was hot. They were playing Chattanooga, which, just that was a beat down of a game. I mean, they got up so quick in that first half, in that first quarter. So I will for sure be there for like the games for like Florida and Bama and the big SEC games. But no, I got to hang out with some of my teammates, just grilled out, ate food, watched a bunch of college football. There's a lot of games on.
Yeah, well, this past week, did you get to watch them? As a former ACC guy, so I know you probably don't have the most love for NC State. What did you think of that beatdown?
I think it was very cool to see, because that was their first game against another top 25 opponent. And when it was a beatdown like that, like against a good team, like, you got something special going on.
Yeah, no doubt. So that was the best thing that could have happened, not just for the university, but for you, is talking about going to the bigger games. Neyland Stadium is a top 3 regarded place, in the nation for a reason. You're going to go there now. They're a top 10 team. The running through the power tee, the lights and everything. So there's a reason I'm hyping this up, man. I want to make sure when you go to an everything school like that, take it all in, brother. And I'm going to tell you, not even just that, if you get a chance during, basketball season, get over to the games. Even baseball, it's going to be hard, but get over to the softball game. Tennessee is a very unique. I'm an LSU fan, and I can say that Tennessee and LSU, I think, do it better than anybody when you talk about competing in every sport, and just it's so much fun to go support your fellow athletes at your school. But let's talk music for a second, man. We always like to talk to the guests. I'm hoping that you won't say a certain answer to this question because it's said way too much when it comes to guys, but you are from Wisconsin originally, so you may not say it. If you could go see any musician anywhere, who are you going to see? Where are you going to see them?
Ooh, I would go. So I'm a very much a country fan. I like country music. I listen to a lot of rap and hip hop and everything else. I have a large genre of music. I would say a lot of old stuff, new stuff. But I would probably go Country Thunder in Wisconsin. I've never been, but everyone talks about how great it is. And probably Eric Church. He's probably my favorite country singer.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, I love Eric Church myself, even as a not big country guy. Then you said somebody, relative to home because, Morgan Wallen's coming there soon to your way. Everybody's talking about it. I got all the guys that I know from Tennessee, stoked for the concert. I mean, even Christian Moore was talking to me about it at the Trash Pandas game. I went to watch him play some MILB ball, and I'm like, God, man, I cannot get away from Morgan Wallen. And Daniel, I think Daniel wants to show up at a concert and boo him to death because he gets picked 9 out of every 10 times on this show.
I ain't gonna lie, Jim. I thought that's where this answer was going.
He did. When he said country, you thought he was going.
Yeah.
I love some Eric Church. I don't know. Morgan Wallen isn't even bad, but what happened, Gavin?
I mean, listen to the sweet, soulful sound of Eric Church right there.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And so, Morgan has become such a thing that I tell you, Gavin, like my 18-year-old daughter was playing him in her room and it was loud enough that I could hear it downstairs. I was like, turn that crap off. And she was like, you don't like him? I was like, no. And Off the Bench has ruined it for us. Like, because we want some unique answers. We want different answers. And when we hear nothing but the same one and it's Morgan, it's like, oh, we need to change. So Eric Church is very welcome. What was the first one you said?
It's a place called Country Thunder. It's like this big event held every year in Wisconsin. I've never been able to go because it's during the summer when all of the travel baseball is going on with summer ball, or I'm here at a college now where I've never had that opportunity to take a weekend off to go. But they get a bunch of big country music singers. It's like a big field in the middle of nowhere. They just set up all these huge tents. It's a big area. It's just a lot of fun, a lot of music, mostly a lot of country music, but it's kind of a hidden gem. I'd say there's a lot of stuff like that goes on in Wisconsin that people don't really know about in the summers.
No, that sounds awesome. Daniel, that's something we've never thought about before. When you play ball the way he does, or the way you even did in your day, you don't have the opportunity to see a lot of things that other people do, man. And just thinking of your future, I don't see the opportunity opening up anytime soon. So I don't know how you make this happen, Gavin. I don't like. You might have to get on the injury report for a weekend, and I don't know. You got to. Your hammy's tight. You can't get out there, and then coach, I'll be back in 48 hours type deal.
Yeah. Hopefully not. I'd love to play. I could miss that concert. I don't know if I can miss a game.
Oh, I love it. Competitor. All right. Last question, man. We'll get into your story. This is an important question. This is the one I'll judge you on. I say music is, but really this is the one. Favorite baseball movie?
Ooh, okay. I would say off the top of my head, Bull Durham. Bull Durham, I love watching it. I grew up watching it a lot with my dad. My dad's like the biggest sports fan. And if we're talking about my story, we'll really get into a lot of my dad. Like my dad's like my hero. He's everything to my baseball career, my life. Like he's the one that's got me to this point. And I used to love watching all the baseball movies with him, but that was probably my favorite one.
Daniel, dude, you talk about not expecting an answer and loving an answer. Because you got to think, Gavin, we are interviewing college guys, and that's an old movie, so that is not a typical response. So, Daniel, when you heard that, like initial, man, I was like, all the feels. I was like, did he say that?
Well, he didn't have to mention his dad, but when he says Bull Durham, I know somebody had some type of influence into you watching that movie because that's just age-wise and generationally, like that's not going to be a movie where like. Unless someone tells you got to watch this movie where you're going to be like, oh, let me check that out. But yeah, solid pick. Definitely when we did our draft, it was definitely up there. So big time.
Well, now I'm ready to get into his story because, he's talking about, his dad's influence in Bull Durham, Daniel. So take this thing away.
Let's do it. All right, Gavin, man. Let's talk about home. You mentioned Wisconsin. Now, where is home for you?
So home is Milton, Wisconsin. It's about 20 minutes south of Madison, kind of in the middle of nowhere. Not a whole lot going on. Probably like 5,000-6,000 people. Just a small area, small town vibe. I love it though. I love Wisconsin. I don't like the cold though. Not a fan of the cold.
If I ever found myself in Milton, Wisconsin, what would you say that I need to do, see, eat, or experience?
You got to go to breakfast at MFR. It's Milton. It's the Milton family restaurant. It's his family that's been running it forever. They take great care of all of us athletes in Milton. Like it's the place to go to. We call it MFR for short, but that would be the place I would tell you to go.
So what would I get?
Ooh, you got to get a skillet or an omelet.
Okay. What about
He's talking my
sausage
language.
gravy?
I'm all about some breakfast food. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
I'm a big biscuit and gravy kind of guy.
They got biscuits and gravy. They got the half
Oh.
order and the full order, and they got a huge plate. So there's big servings.
Bro, there ain't no such thing as half orders in my life. It's full or bust, man. You gotta get it all. All right. So before we get into dad, obviously dad is a huge component here. You mentioned it, and we're gonna talk that, but tell me about the family dynamics as a whole. You got dad, you got mom, you got brothers, sisters.
I do. I got 2 younger siblings. I got a younger brother who's 12, and I got a sister who's 16.
Oh man, so you are the oldest by a good little bit. So
Yeah.
what was that like growing up? Are you kind of so far removed in age? And I'm not saying really far, but like far enough to where you're kind of more independent, or are you like the older statesman where you're leading the way and leading by example, and your younger brother, younger sisters trying to kind of follow in the footsteps?
I would say, being the oldest, I'm very much like was the leader, like the follow the example of. But I think they're also a lot younger than me. Like my little brother, but he's just younger than I am. But I think at the same time we bond a lot. Like we have a really good like family relationship. My sister, she's 16. Like now she drives a car. Like every time I come home, like my little brother's kind of getting to that puberty phase. Like every time I see him, he's getting bigger and his voice is getting deeper. It's crazy. Because to me, that like both of them are still like little kids, like my little siblings, and now she's driving a car, he's getting taller. Like it's different, but no, we have a really good tight family unit at home.
So what you gotta do is you gotta put the beat down on your brother one good time the next time you see him, just to humble him. All right. Don't let him feel like he's got
Right.
the upper hand because he's getting a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger. He finds the weight room. All of a sudden he thinks he's top dog, man. You can't go for that.
Right. No,
Gotta
he
keep him
won't
in
get there.
check.
He won't get there. No, he won't get there.
All right, so let's talk dad. All right, obviously dad played at Louisiana Monroe.
Mhm.
Very good baseball player. You mentioned it, out the gate that he is your role model. He is your biggest influence. So tell me a little bit about dad. Obviously he, did with him having a baseball career. Is he pushing you to get into baseball, or is that something you chose on your own?
I think definitely when you're little and your dad is as big of a sports fan, like you definitely do that more than the rest of them. But I think at a young age, I felt like I had that love for baseball, and it was something that I always wanted to do. And like he never had to force me to do it. I would always be the one asking him to like, oh, go out in the yard, like throw me wiffle balls, or like play catch with me, or throw like a mini bullpen, like I'm like pitching, like in the World Series or something. Like just little stuff like that when I was a kid. Just getting to do that with him was awesome. And I think as time went on, like my dad's was very like had a very polished college career. Played JUCO ball, got hurt at Division I level, never played again because he got Tommy John that ended his career, and that was kind of at a point when that was kind of it. There's no returning. So he ended up, being in baseball as long as he did. He's been able to live the lifestyle, played in college, played a little bit of like semi-pro stuff back home. So I think that was something that's added to my love for the game, his love for the game, and being able to do that together as my baseball career and journey. He was always my coach. He was always the guy I could lean on. He's always been a guy that, he'll watch me on TV. And if I got questions about my swing, like he's the first guy I'm talking to. Like he's seen it more than anybody else has, almost just as much, it'd be me one, him two. For most people have seen me play baseball, swing. Like he's the person I can always rely on that's going to be there for me, baseball wise, anything else. But no, that baseball dynamic has been great.
You think it's subconsciously you want not approval, but you want to kind of make him proud. You know his career, so you want to kind of follow that, but also you want him to be proud of you and your play and your effort and what you put into the game, because it's almost like, hey dad, this is my, contribution of what you passed down to me.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I think, different position for myself. My dad, of course, he was a pitcher at, level, and I play middle infield. But I think the thing that, I don't like I want to be everything my dad wanted to be. Like my dad wanted to be a big leaguer and play as long as he could. Like, that got taken away from him because of injury. And I feel like, if I can do that and I become a big leaguer, like, a little part of him is too. So I think that's something that's pretty cool to think about and feel is like, everything that he's done for me is almost like something that we've done together. If I, getting to that point, um, just wanted to be everything that my dad always wanted to be, something that is kind of like something like a want for me.
Well, you talked about Bull Durham right off the top, and we joke, kind of about knowing historically, but you talking about Tommy John, me and Daniel have talked with it. I mean, we've probably had 50 guests on this show that's had Tommy John, and we talked to them about how it used to be, a death sentence to your career back when Daniel was playing 20 years ago, and it's just crazy. Like, what are his thoughts? When he's watching modern medicine, thinking about, man, if I would have played today, what could have been?
I think a lot of guys will always have that whole, I think it's just like a technology thing and advance, with doctors and all the surgeries and, all the new stuff that you learn as time goes on. I think that entire generation would be different because a lot of those guys, I mean, you get Tommy John. I mean, his story to me was his coach was Smoke Laval, who was very famous college coach at Monroe. And, kind of just told him like, hey, like you're hurt, Tommy John, like see ya. Like we loved you as a pitcher, but I mean, at that time, you're gone. That's it.
And
There's
now
no
guys are coming back better. They're cleaning out all the scar
yeah.
tissue. You're having a completely, it's almost like, it feels like some of these guys are put in a bionic arm because they got hurt throwing 95 and now they're throwing 98 when they come back.
Yeah, it's crazy, but outside of your dad, remove your dad from it. Obviously there's a lot of coaches, there's a lot of people that influence, athletes of your caliber. Outside of dad, who's the next biggest influence?
Baseball wise, I would have to say RJ Fergus. I'm not sure if you guys know who that is, but he runs the summer ball team that I played for. It's called Hitters Baseball. Guys like, Gavin Lux, Ben Rortvet, Jared Kalanick, Owen Miller, Alex Pinellas, he's still in the minors. I'm trying to think of all the big leaguers, but there's Doran. No.
Roger Doran?
No. Not Doran.
Major League
Colton
chance.
Varsho. I'm just naming guys that I know that have played for RJ. Like he's the man for Wisconsin baseball. He's like playing for Hitters is like the number one place to play if you're a Wisconsin kid. Like that is the place you go to get seen by college coaches. And the thing that I lucked out on was he was actually my travel team's coach from when I was 14 till I was 18. And I got to learn a lot of valuable lessons with him about life, baseball, how to take care of myself on the road with summer ball, how to treat people, how to have conversations, how to not be afraid to talk to people. Because, I mean, in that recruiting process, I mean, you're selling yourself, your image, it's more than just baseball. So being able to talk to people, communicate, I think in a lot of ways, and he pushed me to limits that I never thought I was going to ever be able to get to. And I think just in total, like all of that has made him someone that I will always be appreciative of and thankful that my parents, paid and took care of me to be able to play for him. And then two, like him taking everything he can and putting everything into me to make me great and all my teammates great.
It sounds like a lot like Ed Easley, Jim, because Ed, like, while he is big time with development and players and him being a pro baseball player himself, the connections that he teaches more than just the development of pitches or getting better at the game. He's teaching these guys how to speak, how to talk, how to carry themselves like baseball players, how to, handle the pressures, how to go to college, how to select the right place, how to just all the little nuances that nobody sits down and talks to you about. He's making a living out of the whole gamut of being an athlete.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel, you remember when I did that live interview with Brady Tigert right after it was over, he came and said, hey, man, you're going to be a pitcher in the SEC and you're going to have a microphone in your face a lot. We're going to have a little session and help you work on this because, he froze up, Gavin, when I went to interview him, and we're like, man, I'm just a local guy interviewing you. You fixing to be playing for Arkansas in the SEC. You're going to have to learn to talk.
Well, it's
absolutely.
it's not only that, but like you're going to have baseball is a game of failures. You're going to go through days where you have a rough day. And, you know, as a college player in an SEC program, you could easily pick up the phone and see a lot of negative energy that's out there. How you respond when people are, on their keyboards on their phone, or even when, the press is sitting in front of you and asking you certain questions about big games and big series, like all of that, like takes practice. You got to be able to be mature enough to handle it and say the right thing. So I totally understand where you're coming from, with that, the travel program that you played for being able to be all encompassing when it's developing you as a player. But I want to switch kind of gears. Obviously, we know what travel baseball means to development, and we know it's the gateway to the next level. But I always like to ask about high school life and what the caliber of competition was like. And we haven't really talked to anybody from Wisconsin. So tell me about your high school. What high school did you go to? And what's the competition like in high school baseball in Wisconsin?
Okay, so I went to Milton High School. I went to Janesville Craig High School my freshman sophomore year. They were like the number one team in the state. They had a bunch of Division I players on it. Like we were loaded. If I went over there, I wanted to do that. And then the problem was COVID hit my sophomore year. My sophomore season gets canceled. It turns into a situation where, Wisconsin baseball came out and said, we don't know, if we're going to have baseball this year. And that was my junior year. So for me, it turned into where would I rather graduate? And I wanted to graduate with all my high school people, my friends and people I grew up with. So I went back to Milton for my junior and senior years. I only played high school baseball 2 years, my freshman year and my senior year. So I don't have a very a large career to look at, but I would say Wisconsin baseball is a hidden gem. It's nothing like, Florida or Texas or a lot of these big, California, like these big areas, but I would say there's a lot of talent in the state of Wisconsin. And I think it just depends. I mean, like my senior year, we won state, we won the whole thing, which was one of the coolest things I've ever, it's one of the things I like to say to people because it's just something that I will always have for the rest of my life. But yeah, no, hidden gem, 100%. I think there's a lot of good talent.
And you ended on a good note. The thing was you didn't play 2 years, but Daniel, I mean, how many have we had that the senior year was the year that got taken away? The year that you look forward to most. And I mean, it's just every time we get told that, it's just a sad story for us because, man, everything that you've worked to, all your friends you've established, and it's taken away. So at least you got to not only play out your senior year, but get a state title doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, to be honest, it doesn't seem like you missed a beat because you were selected 13th round of the 2022 MLB draft by the Red Sox. You were a member of the 2021 18 and under national team, 2022 perfect game All-American. You played in the 2022 MLB high school All-Star game, 2022 first team All-State, 2022 Badger South Conference Player of the Year, led your team to a 2022 Wisconsin Division I state title, and you were rated the number one shortstop, the best player in Wisconsin. So obviously, like I said, it didn't matter. You could have not played any of your high school years and you still would have been a stud. But let me ask you this. So with those type of accolades, how is it that Louisville draws you to them?
So I would say that, so I committed in 8th grade, which is crazy to say out loud now, looking back, considering that was so many years ago. But for me, Louisville I got seen at a camp that hitters ran, that RJ Fergus, that guy. So I played for him there. I played really well. It was kind of a cool story. So we played 2 games on Sunday and they watched. First game, I don't remember how good or bad I did, but this guy comes up to me because there's all these college coaches and he tries to give me a little advice for my swing. Next game, I go 3 for 3 with 2 doubles. Guy shakes my hand and, hey, my name's Eric Snyder. I'm the recruiting coordinator at University of Louisville. How are you doing? And it was just starstruck, especially at that time. That was when they were going to Omaha very consistently. They were really good. Brendan McKay was, the greatest player in college baseball that year. I don't think he won the Golden Spikes, but I mean, every other accolade I think he won. But that team was loaded. I really loved the coaching staff, talking to them in high school when I was, first recruited there. And it kind of was just like getting to go down there. It was like, at this time when I was that age, I was like, this is where I want to go. And I think there's kind of a hotbed between hitters and guys going to Louisville. I think that was kind of a part of it for me. But no, I mean, at that young, looking back, I wish I would have waited longer. I think that's a very important decision to make. And I should have taken more time and taken a step back and like really gotten to look at all my options, because they were like one of the first schools that reached out to me too. Or they were the first one. So I think I kind of rushed it, and I didn't have anyone like advising me to be like, you need to wait. Like there's rules now, you can't talk to them until they're your juniors in high school, which I think is great. I think that's the right way to do it. I think it's closer to your time in college. You get more of a sense of what it's going to be like when you're there. And I think, I don't know. I just personally, I wish I would have gotten that information or that rules around when I was getting recruited.
Yeah, no, we've had numerous athletes on here talk about that, and they, just like you, are glad the rules changed. Guys who, were picking in 8th grade, not clear old enough to make the decision. On top of that, didn't do the things you were talking about, getting to go on all the campus visits and really take it in, go see those 5 different spots, talk to those coaches, talk to the other players, see the campus, all those things that you get. Even if there's a possibility that, you're going to go to that first one, you still, owe it to yourself to check out the rest and see how it's going to go. But the thing about Louisville is, obviously, when you look at elite level baseball schools and I don't know, if you look at like the most 10, 15 consistent programs, Louisville's one of them. So you make an exceptional choice. When you get there, one of the first things that pops off the page for me, because I go down to either the Arlington Baseball Classic, or I go over to the college Shriners over at Minute Maid Park. And so I happened to go the weekend before you were there, because they had it back-to-back weekends. But I see you have a 3-hit game and a win over at TCU. So, I want to ask you, you're playing a top 10 TCU team, but you're playing in a Major League Baseball park. So early in your freshman year, just how cool was that experience to get to play there against top-notch competition, but also have success?
I think for me, it was, what kid that loves baseball doesn't want to play in those big league parks, especially those ones down where it's nice and warm. And it was awesome. It was a very cool experience getting to, honestly, I would say my most fun was Thursday before the games, when they let us go out there and just take BP, be on the field, shag, look around, like check things out. Just to see it, just to feel like you're a part of something like the professionals are, and something that you want to be doing later on in life. And I think competition is just fun. I've always found it that way. I've never been like shy or afraid of it. I think that's what makes baseball great, is competition. If it was easy, everyone would do it. And I think that's what makes the game of baseball so special, because how hard it is.
Yeah, and I try to tell people, obviously, big advocate on and off the bench for going into year 5 now of just the grow the game thing. But I try to tell people, I understand you're not going to get the same, when you're at home watching your team and you have a packed out stadium. Like, I get that, but it's about more than just watching your team. It's getting to watch numerous very good teams in a neutral site, which happens to be a pro baseball stadium. And so that's why every year I'm going to Arlington, I'm going to Houston, I'm checking those out. This year, me and Daniel are even going to check out one in Jacksonville. But you look at that slate of teams that y'all had, just elite level teams across the board. And it's just an opportunity. And for the ticket price you get to see all those, you're not going to get a better bang for your buck. And so I just love those. And getting to see, guys like y'all go against TCU early in the season, a team that you wouldn't face otherwise. I think it's all good ball. And, that kind of, shot you up and gave you a trajectory where you were doing extremely well. So when it comes to freshman season, the thing we always like to talk about most, because life comes at you fast, right? And you're playing in these games and you have to learn so much. We talk about the weight room and the nutrition and all that before the season, the game, then when you're within it. From all of it, your freshman year, what would you say is the one thing that you learned the most?
I think the biggest thing for me was learning how to deal with failure, how to deal with struggles, how to deal with, because I didn't play to start the year. I didn't play the first 4 games. I got like a pinch hit, and then I started like our 5th game. So, I mean, coming from, some of the stuff I had in high school to not playing in college my first couple weekends, it was a wake-up call for sure. Where it's like, listen, like it's time, it's time to put the work in. It's time that you need to put your head down and just work. And if you want things to be the way you want them, then you need to go out and get them. Like no one's just going to be handing that to you. And that was a good lesson for myself to get. So I think that once I got my opportunity, I played, good at the beginning of the season, and I earned my spot. I earned my time playing. I played great defense. That was something that really kept me on the field. Timely hitting, just being a good teammate and doing everything that, was expected of me. So I think that was a good learning curve. Being able to balance college pitching as well. It's a little different, especially from high school. And I think just everything, life in general. I think I struggled in college my freshman year. I think I was very naive and very much just just not worrying about the right things. And I think that was my biggest turnaround from my freshman to my sophomore year.
Yeah, but you're teaching so much. We have a pretty big audience. It's younger guys that listen, that like to take things in, and you're telling them the important things first. You're a guy who, as Daniel said, was the number one shortstop right out Wisconsin, but here you are, like you said, not starting. First, knowing that nothing's guaranteed to you, right? But that don't mean you stop putting in the work. It means you work harder, and then, like you said, when you get that opportunity, pounce on it. But like I said, being prepared for failure and the things that come with it. But you're not different than most of the guests that come on here. I think that's why we like asking that question. Very rarely does anybody come to freshman year and just have it all figured out, right? If you do, you had a lot of people in your ear with a lot of wisdom. And even still, you didn't make mistakes. I don't know. Somebody special was watching over you, but you talk about that freshman to sophomore year transition. Started 54, 56 games at shortstop. Earned third team All ACC. Which Daniel, man, I need to talk to the committee. Third team All ACC. This cat batted 330, 23 doubles, 3 triples, and 9 home runs. Drove in 41 and scored 39 times. Daniel, does that sound like third team to you?
I need to know who was on first and
Where's the
second
second?
team. Jesus.
I mean, Griffin O'Farrell won it, so I think he earned every part of that for sure.
Well, I get it, but I don't know. Those and there's 2 elite conferences in baseball, and just based on what we know, and I don't argue with anybody. And it's the SEC and it's the ACC. It is what it is. And when you put up those kind of numbers in a conference like that, I don't know. It's very rare that you find yourself on third team, but nonetheless, that freshman to sophomore jump you talked about. We, seeing what you do defensively, also seeing what you do hitting. And by the way, like I said, don't shun over the fact I saw an all academic team in there. So getting your grades done and everything. I was looking through and I didn't know which series to pick out because you had a lot of great ones. So I figured I'd just ask you, what was your favorite? We'll start with home. What was your favorite home series last year?
That's hard. That's a hard question because we had, I think I would, as a teammate, I would say NC State because we swept them at home and that was a good weekend. I would say personally, probably Virginia Tech because I hit for the cycle on Saturday.
And I was waiting to see if that would get brought up by you or me. I have that noted here, but that was the thing though. I mean, you had you had some 4-for-4 games in there, and I mean, you had a lot of really good weekends.
See how humble he is? Like that would have been hands down been like, this is about me. Like I had the best weekend. I had a cycle.
But
that's not the team we swept. We swept so and so.
But that's why he's going to fit well where he's going, Daniel, because Tony doesn't do that, right? He's got a bunch of dudes who can do exactly what Gavin can do, and it's about coming together as a team and having chemistry. He doesn't care who the man is, and so I love that Gavin has that approach already. Because that's why they're going to compete again to win a championship because they have that mentality. But that is cool. Daniel talked about it. We got to see Christian Moore, from Tennessee hit the cycle in Omaha at that, which Daniel just talked, his first time in Omaha. Not only does he get to see 3 walk-offs, oh, by the way, you get to see a cycle. For you, man, what was that like? Like I said, the level you're playing at, to hit a cycle.
I wish I could celebrate it more. I think the thing for me that overshoots it is we lost by like 8 runs. So for me as a competitor, like after the game, like I didn't want to hear anything from anybody about it because we had to get ready to play on Sunday. We just got our butt kicked Friday and Saturday. We got another game going on. Like we can't be worried about one individual success right now. Like there's things much more important to the team than that. So I think as a competitor, I was more angry that we lost by that much than anything else.
You know what I can say though, Gavin? It wasn't your fault.
No. Look, so that's how it goes.
But I don't get a win. We all lost. So
well, see, that's where it goes. Reporter says to Gavin, why are you hitting the transfer portal? And Gavin says, I hit the cycle and we lost by 8 runs. Why do you think? No, I'm just kidding. But you do hit the transfer portal, something that Gavin, I think a lot of guys, or not a lot of guys, a lot of people, were really frowning on. But let's use Tennessee for an example. We had Billy Amick come on in the fall of last year, and he talked about how much he was taking heat and criticism by people for leaving Clemson, right? And you talked to Billy. We just had him on Pros and Joes last week, our other show where we have minor league guys on, and talked about being the best decision of his entire life. And not even just because of the national championship. He said the team camaraderie, the friendships that he made in the 1 year at Tennessee were better than Clemson. And that's not to not, he talked about his love for Clemson. And, that's the same thing with you, not to say anything negative about, but, these decisions, there's a lot that comes with them, right? Y'all, it's not like y'all just throw, pull a name out of a hat and make a decision. You're doing it for many different reasons. But, he had no regrets. We had, obviously Paul Skeens come on here as well. No regrets. And those are guys who won championships, right? But nonetheless, it paid off with their decisions. And and I bring that up, I guess, to say when you make a decision for Tennessee, you're going to play for the best coach in college baseball. You are going to play with a fan base that is right now just engaged and electric. And you're going to play with a bunch of guys who are elite level talent and know how to win, who want to win. So, I mean, it all makes sense for me. So was it everything I just said, or was there something else that, made Tennessee be the school for you?
I think down the stretch, going into the portal, I didn't really know what to expect going into it. Just because I don't think anyone really does. I mean, it's a very new world, very new. It's something that's very fresh. Only a couple of years where the transfer portal, the rules are the way they are. I think the biggest thing for me was I want to win. Like I was, I will always be appreciative of my time at Louisville and appreciative for them to give me the opportunity to play college baseball, and to give in to me to make me a better player. It just didn't turn into the situation that I wanted to be a part of anymore. And for me, Tennessee fit everything that I was looking for. I love competing. I love to win. I want to win. I want to develop and get better as a baseball player. And I felt like those two things went hand in hand here. And I feel like this was the best opportunity and the best fit for myself.
Yeah, and y'all have the most exciting situation. Tony V has the best problem on his hands. I mean, between you, Dean Curley, and Antigua, like 3 legit ballers at shortstop. And what's basically going to happen is y'all are going to compete for shortstop, and one of y'all's going to win it, and then the other 2 are going to disperse to second base and third base, and then oh, by the way, our guest last week, Andrew Fisher, is going to have a say with whoever goes the way of third base. So what a great problem to have. And I think based off anything I've read on you and just talking to you, you embrace that competition, right? I know you're ready this fall to earn it. You don't seem like a guy who wants anything given. And so the idea that that there's other guys very talented and just as hungry for that position, I know that as y'all just got started with practices, you're embracing that competition. Am I wrong?
No, not at all. I think it's a good thing. I think competition really leads to greatness. And I think when you have that much talent and that many guys pushing each other every day on a daily basis, all you're going to do is get better. And at the end of the day, like we compete on the field, but we all have great relationships with each other. Like it's not like, one of us wins the job and then the other 2 are upset and want to leave, right? No, it's what can I do to help this team win? And if that means that I need to go play left field, then I will play left field. Like I just want to win. I just want to play the game of baseball. I love competing. If someone earns it, then they earned it. Like that's how life is. That's how the game of baseball is.
Yeah, that's why, I mean, I'm going to get to see some of your inner squads. Y'all are actually coming our direction for y'all are playing a game in Jackson and a game in Nashville. So I'm going to get to see those, and I'm going to get to see, you know, that as that competition thrives. But yeah, like you said, guys can be moved to other places. Obviously, you know, gives you the opportunity for rest days for guys or playing DH, you know, a lot of options. We've watched Tony maneuver his talent around and obviously see massive success over the last 4 years. Did get to see the pictures of y'all's first day of practice the other day. We had some of our guys over there, just seeing y'all kind of getting acclimated, you know. What's it been like just the first few days being with the guys, and, you know, obviously, you know, other things like, you know, the weight room and you know, just even just hanging out, you know, how's it been so far?
It's been good. I think the really big thing is that, you know, coming off that national championship last year, like, it's not like those guys are satisfied with one. You know, they want another one. They want, you know, back to back. And us guys that are just coming in, it's like, man, like, we're hungry for the same thing. You know, it's not like, you know, it's not like they're full and they're like satisfied with where they're at. No, like, everyone's super competitive. They know. And the good thing is that they know what it takes to get there. So you know, personally myself, I'm relying on these guys a lot because, you know, they've been a part of something that won everything. So for me, I'm trying to just learn and grow and become better and develop into this system. But it's been really good. We got a lot of good guys. We got a lot of talent. We're gonna be fun to watch, I think, coming into the spring. And for sure this fall, we got a couple of good. We come to Nashville, you said, and like we play against Western Kentucky and we play Troy. Like those will be fun. I'm
Yeah, those
excited.
are the best when you come my way, so I can make a closer drive because it's 5 hours normally, but yeah, Nashville's 3 hours. When you play in Jackson, it's only an hour. So I love that Tony schedules those trips, makes it easier for me to go see y'all. But I think it starts at the top, Gavin, and I think Daniel would agree with this. Daniel himself is a national championship pitching coach, and, you know, Frank Anderson and Josh Elander and Tony Vitello, they're not fine with settling with that national championship either. These are guys that want to develop and get the best out of y'all. They want to win another championship just as much as you guys want to win one. And the way that they have been able to work together and work with guys and get the best versions, that's the reason it really starts. You know, we've had Tony on this show twice, and I've gotten to talk to Josh, and it's just that staff is incredible. And that's why I think, honestly, people want to know why these guys haven't left to go take head coaching jobs. Why? When you have this team assembled and you're doing what you're doing and you're at the top of college baseball, why break up a good thing? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so I think those guys are going to get y'all where you want to be.
For sure. Gavin, couple questions in regards to Tennessee, man. You know,
do you hate wearing orange?
No, I like it. I've never really worn orange in my life, but, you know, I'm starting to like it.
Daniel, have you because Daniel is a Memphis fan, as you see the flag in the back. Memphis and Tennessee have never gotten along, but Daniel has, you know, you see him wearing the in off the bench shirt with the Vols. But Daniel, does it still feel a little wrong, or have you gotten better wearing the orange?
I mean, the podcast helps getting to meet the guys and watching what it means to them to win. Like that helps. Meeting the fan base, that all helps. So it's kind of I'm trying to think of I guess when you have rivalries amongst families, and we've had siblings go to rival schools and then they have to come home for like family dinners. Like it's civil to a point. Like I'm very professional. Like I can deal with other fan bases, not a problem. But like if you're asking me like if I had to pick the Tigers or the Vols, like that's not
that
even
wasn't what I was asking you. But here's what I'll tell you, Gavin, and then I'll let him ask his questions. You know, he's outed me a bunch on this show, but this guy, we were at the team hotel, and he met a bunch of good Tennessee fans at the corner of the bar. And I had to leave early that morning. He had to catch a flight early that morning. I told him we needed to go. He was having such a blast talking to these Tennessee fans. There it was, like 3 hours later. Dude, we've got to go. But he was enjoying himself with the Vol Nation. So, I mean, there's something to it.
Yeah. I mean, I did. I had a good time. I was
absolutely
talking ball with people. But Gavin, let's get to it, man. Obviously, we've got the story. We know what the expectations for baseball are, but let's have a little fun, man. Let's talk college football. Um, we're gonna do a little pick 'em. We've been doing pick 'em with all of
Okay.
our guests since college football started. So, um, let's look at the first matchup.
And the
Arizona.
good news for you is if you do bad, you won't be back next week for us to pound on you. So you're
Yeah,
good.
we're not.
All
Either
right,
way,
my computer's about my computer's about to die. I'm gonna grab my computer, my charger real quick, just so I don't get lost here.
Oh, you're
all right.
good.
He's gonna get charged up, man. But Jim, obviously, college football, not. We'll talk more in depth. But while he's getting plugged in, I just gotta ask.
I'm sorry, I don't got it on me, but we're all right. It should be here for good.
All right. Well, I'll make it quick. Arizona, Kansas State. Arizona's traveling to Kansas State. Who you got?
I'll take Kansas State at home.
Okay. All right. Alabama at Wisconsin.
I gotta take
tough
Wisconsin.
place.
I gotta
Tough
take
place
Wisconsin.
to play.
That's why I
rough
put that on
showing
there.
in Florida. I'm taking Wisconsin.
I love it. Daniel, hey, I know we ain't got much time, but tell them why we're not going to take Wisconsin.
We're not going to take Wisconsin because we got burned by them on parlays before, and
But there was a big one. No, we had a 10-team parlay. Me and Daniel were going to split $3,800, and Wisconsin blew it.
Single-handedly.
So now we won't bet on them ever again.
Put the money on Braylon Allen, the running back.
Okay, I feel
we
you.
go. Little tip.
Right. He's one of the running backs for the Jets tonight. I'm hoping he gets in.
LSU travels to South Carolina. South Carolina, big win against Kentucky.
College game day will be there.
Yep.
LSU,
not so
I'm gonna take
hot
South
this
Carolina.
weekend.
I'm going South Carolina.
It's okay to pick wrong back-to-back picks.
All right. Boston College at Missouri.
Oh, Missouri. Missouri's good.
All right. What about the rivalry? Oregon going to Oregon State.
Ooh. I'm going to go Oregon.
That's a tough one. They've looked pretty suspect.
I know. Yeah.
There's nothing Oregon State
would,
there's nothing Oregon State would love to do more than to ruin their they're set up well in the college football playoff setting, so they would love to ruin that. Yeah. But I'll say this, Gavin, you were one of my favorite players coming into this college baseball season, but when you just picked against LSU, I don't know, man. There's some things I just don't come back from. No, I'm just playing.
Hey, it's all good. I mean, they got to do better against teams like Nicholls State before.
Yeah, my daughter's a freshman at LSU. She sent me a text and said our defense sucks ass, and I was like, man, that's bad when my daughter is getting on them.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's not good.
All right, Gavin, we're done with Pick'em, but we got one more game that we're going to play. It's called This or That. It's a game that's sweeping the nation. I'm sure in the clubhouse at the University of Tennessee, you've heard all about it. I mean, it's taken over. It's very simple. I give you one option or the other. You just pick one. All right. Two options, you pick one. Very simple. You could do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Jim, who is This or That brought to you by?
It's brought to you by Chinook Cedary, 8 flavors, mild to wild. Daniel, at the Trash Pandas game versus the Biloxi Shuckers when I was just down there, my boy Ray, he took your advice. He didn't just grab a handful. He took a bag of the barbecue, a bag of the cinnamon toast. He actually poured them in together, mixed them, grind and swept them. He said, Daniel, so he took what you taught him, took it to another level, said tastes even better when you share them in the bag. So for those who like the smoke and toast combo that Daniel came up with, go ahead and mix them in the bag, let them sit for a little bit, then go to work.
Get it. All the way, Ray. That's what I'm talking about. Yep. Chinook Cedary. You get the jumbo seeds for the price of the small guys. You get the best seed, the best flavors, the best taste. And
they're honestly, in the Tennessee dugout.
That's exactly where I was going. In the Tennessee dugout. Yeah. Boom. There you go. All right. This is our, Jim is in his minor league mascot era. He's into hats these days. So because he's been collecting hats, he's been looking at the mascots and very intriguing mascots in the
and I got to show something since
minor league baseball.
It's not in here. The Lunatics, which is the Trash Pandas other one that they use, is the best. It's not a
Very
choice.
cool. It's different.
Very, very nice. Very nice.
Signed
All
by
right.
Christian Moore, by the way. Shout out, Simo.
So, Gavin, with that in mind, would you rather be a storm chaser or a river bandit?
Ooh, I'm gonna go Storm Chaser because when I was like 9 in our like league, whatever, I was a River Bandit. So I will take the other one.
Oh, how about that? River bandit. Would you rather be a fisher cat or a sea dog? I see what you did there. Cats, dogs. I got you. Fisher cat or
Well,
sea dog?
well, the Sea Dogs. I'm a Red Sox fan. Like that.
Oh, all right, all right. Would you rather be a biscuit or a rubber duck?
I'll be a Rubber Duck.
Oh,
The Biscuits underrated. When I went to the Biscuits game, hey, they got it going on over there in Montgomery.
Very
hot
cool.
biscuits.
I mean, their
Would-
hashtag is butter up, baby. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Would you rather be a river dog or a rail rider?
Rail Rider.
Yeah, rail rider. Would you rather be a yard goat or a mud hen?
Mud Hen.
Would you rather be a trash panda or a rumble pony?
Oh, you gotta be a Trash Panda.
All right.
Okay, he said that, but Daniel, before you ask this next question, I have seen the new Rumble Pony hat. And here's the thing, Gavin, he didn't tell you. I will not collect the hat unless we have a guest from this show that plays for the team to sign the hat.
Right.
We do not have a guest on the Rumble Ponies. Look, Rumble Ponies, y'all's organization, hear me when I say, please, I need your hat autographed because I think you have the best hat in the game. I mean, it's a damn pony with boxing gloves on. Looks like he's right out the Mike Tyson game from back in the 80s. Like, I need this, Daniel, in my life. So come on, get in off the bench, guys, soon.
Got to get a rumble pony out there. All right. Last one. And this is a combo of the previous two winners. Would you rather be a mud hen or would you rather be a trash panda?
Trash Panda.
Yeah, I think when you look at the lunatic hat and then you realize that the trash pandas are the same organization and like that's the quality of creativity you're getting, like sign me up for that.
Daniel, that Saturday. So I told you there were 6,600 people at that game Friday night. Gavin, I wasn't able to be there for Saturday night. 8,000 people at a AA minor league game. And it shows you that they're doing it right. Everything they do, Gavin, it's not just the product on the field, which is great. I mean, they got games between every innings with people. There's the t-shirt tosses. The mascots are doing all sorts of crazy stuff. The stadium itself is awesome. They got food and drink specials. They got Daniel, I mean, if you want to put on some weight ASAP, they got this like trash. I forgot what it's called, but basically it's a burrito wrapped with everything in it. You know, it's like $15 and just go to work. That place is awesome.
Can't
Very
beat
cool.
it.
No.
Gavin,
Yeah.
anything you want to plug or promote before we get you out of here, man?
Keelan's Cage. Anyone in Wisconsin that listens, ever wants to get hitting lessons, my dad does lessons called keelanscage.com website if you want to check it out.
I mean, look at Gavin's numbers. I mean, I would go see his dad.
I'm telling you, you're not only just getting hitting lessons, you're getting hitting lessons from a guy who's produced, you know, an elite level player. And, you know, that's me giving it the best that I can give. And it's not even close to what they offer there. So if you are in the Wisconsin area, if you're in was it Milton? Is that I'm assuming that's where it's at.
I mean, I'm looking at a picture of his dad. He's got a sweet beard game. That's all just another reason to
and
go.
he's got the full arm sleeves, both arms too, and he's jacked. So he's got it all figured out.
I think you were just talking about me, except his beard looked better, but no. I got the full arm sleeves too. Daniel doesn't do tattoos. He don't have a single one, so I make up for it by getting them.
Right?
Yeah, he just I don't know what his theme of tattoos is, but he's got a lot of them. I don't even know if there is a theme. He just
and then my wife is sleeved up too.
Yeah, a
Cool.
lot of money spent on tattoos in that house. But anyhow, Gavin, we appreciate you, man. Obviously, we hope a successful, a happy, a fun, and most importantly, a safe and successful season for you guys. If there's anything we can do for you, please reach out to us. And that's it. Jim, another good episode. I want to thank our guest, Gavin Kilen, for joining us. If you like hearing Gavin's story or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook. Retweet us on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it these days. Listen and subscribe wherever you stream podcasts. As always, comments, ratings, feedback, thumbs up, hearts, hugs, loves. We'll take it all. Make sure you go over to YouTube, click subscribe, hit the notifications because content is constantly going up, whether it's shorts or our episodes going live. You'll be able to check it out and you'll get the notification as soon as they are uploaded. Jim, big week. Who we got?
All right, so tomorrow we got Aubrey Davis, two-time national champion from Oklahoma Gymnastics. You know, they're geared up. They're number one. Wednesday, you'll be back, man. Coach Bobby Miranda, over 20 years. Gavin may even know who that is. In the ACC is a coach. For Pros and Joes, we got Brooks Auger and Pico Cone from Mississippi State, newly drafted, both guys in the top 6 rounds. So a lot going on. And just, you know, because you brought up the clips on YouTube, I follow all our guests. If you want to see some clips right now, our boy Drew Gilbert, former Tennessee Vol, is hitting home runs every single night and flipping the bat just like he used to. So if you are a Tennessee fan listening to the show and you missed some Drew Gilbert, going over to our YouTube, you can catch our man hitting bombs on a nightly basis.
That's news to me. Drew Gilbert hits home runs.
Very cool, man. Hey, his swing looks real good. It's fun to watch him hit, especially as I'm a left-handed hitter as well. So it's very cool to get to see that.
If he did not get hurt, he would have already made it up because he was on fire before he got hurt, and then he had a long setback. But when he came back, took him a few games, but he's back on it. But I will say this: the Mets are on fire, so it's not like, you know, they would have desperately needed him. But he's just another one of the guys that, Gavin, when you're in this system, you look at right now there are 7 guys that are Tony V guys that are in the pros. You have Simo before he got hurt, knock on the doorstep. Chase Dolander is the reigning player of the month in minor league baseball for a pitcher. I mean, all these guys are going pro. So if it's not just about winning national championships, it's proven that if you go through Tony, Frank, and Josh Elander, you're going to be a certified pro, it seems like.
For sure. All right, let's get out of here. This has been the In Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We are out.